Hello everyone, and welcome. Now, if you've been following the channel, you've likely seen me talking about Chat Plays Dungeon World on Mixer. But what is this? How's it going to work? I'll tell you how. So, first of all, we're going to be playing Dungeon World, and we're going to be playing as a group. I'm going to run this adventure for chat specifically. Now, you may have seen something like Critical Role or another actual play show that gives chat the opportunity to interject a bit, sometimes. What we're doing here is, as far as I know, unprecedented. I'm running it directly for you. You can join one of 3 teams, and your team will control one of our 3 player characters. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm super excited. Now, where can you find information about this? First of all, I have got, most of our information will be on the Discord. I have included the links to the Discord on just about every platform that I've got. You can find it there, on Mixer, on YouTube, even on Instagram. That's where you'll find the link to the Discord. Now within that, you can go down to the bottom of the channels section, and you can find the information. There will be an individual Discord for each of the 3 teams. And then also a general one to talk about the project and give general announcements about it. That's where you're going to be finding information. I'll have the character sheets in there, I'll have information about the basic moves, etc. But the system itself, how does that work? Now, whether you're new to RPGs or you're coming from a game like D&D, Dungeon World might not be on your radar. I love the system, so here's how it works. It's a 2d6 system. D&D is a d20 system. Maybe you're familiar, maybe you're not. But in this game, you're going to be rolling 2 6-sided dice. And you're going to do a little bit of math, a very little bit, and you will be comparing that against the partial success system sort of ladder of target numbers. It's all much less complicated than it sounds. On a 6 or less, after you've done your math, that is considered a failure. It means that whatever your character was trying to do, they have not done so, and also, their life gets a little bit more complicated somehow. Maybe an additional challenge, or they attract unwanted attention. On a 7 to 9, after the math, they succeed, but maybe with an additional complication, or maybe a little less success than they were hoping for. It's my favorite part of a 2d6 system, or at least a partial success system. On a 10 plus, that means that your character has fully succeeded in what they were trying to do, and they complete it without a hitch. Now, when I say do a little bit of math, that is referring to your stats. If you're coming from D&D, this is all going to make a lot of sense. If you have never played an RPG before, now's the time to get in. It's very simple. Instead of skills and attributes and, blah, 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 we've really only got 6 stats. Strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, charisma. Those are the basic 6. So when I ask you to make a check, it's going to be with one of those 6 stats. I might ask you to make a dexterity check to sneak past some guards, or a strength check to heave your unconscious friend up the castle wall. Maybe a charisma check to help convince the princess that you really did find the bandit she was looking for, and this isn't just a cow dressed up in some sweet armor. That's the basics of the system. You will roll your 2d6, add your modifier from whatever skill I tell you to use. It could be anywhere from probably a -1 up to maybe as high as a +3. That's how the system works, but we've got an additional bit of complication on top of that because we're trying to have lots of people playing at once. Here's how that's going to work. I'm using a tool called MixPlay. Now this is only available within Mixer, so I really hope that you are willing to give Mixer a try if you haven't already. It's a fantastic system. This MixPlay tool is going to work on desktop, tablet, and mobile, because I don't want people to have to be bouncing around between different platforms in order to participate. There will be some requirements in order to join one of the 3 teams. Each team is going to control 1 player character, and we don't want people to just, stream trolls, what have you, to jump in and be able to run one of our characters off a cliff. There are going to be some requirements. They're going to be pretty light, but I don't want people to game the system, so I'm not going to make those requirements immediately available to identify. Just check every once in a while. You should see pretty quickly that you'll be able to jump in and join one of our teams. Now, I will be explaining more and introducing our 3 player characters, at least our starting lineup of 3, in a video to follow this one, along with a little bit of information about the world. But even if you don't meet the requirements quite yet, you can still participate. you can join a team called the Mob. Now, this is going to help me control all of the mobs, all of the NPCs, all of the enemies and random characters that they might meet throughout the world. There are no requirements to join that team. You can jump into that one immediately. Now, how's it going to work to actually take actions? Well, this is the part of the reason that I'm using Mixplay. I can design my own little currency that you can earn just by watching the channel, and I have done so, and it's called action points. By watching the channel, you can earn action points, specifically for these streams. Now that means that you're going to be able to spend these points that you have accrued by watching on taking actions. Now, this system is going to evolve a lot, especially in the early stages here, so please bear with me as we continue and learn new things about how the system might be able to work, how we can really streamline our process for making decisions. But in the early stages, each action is going to cost a certain number of action points, and you're going to be able to either decide for yourself or vote toward that particular action and spend action points to do so. This ensures that if you, for instance, decide you want to be really dedicated and watch a lot of this one, that means that you're going to have more control over that character, or at least more often. But don't worry, you earn action points simply by watching, and you're going to spend those on these different actions to take. I aim to have as much of this available as possible inside of Mixer, so you're not having to bounce through links to find out, what is the actual text of this specific move. I'm trying to have it as much as possible available all within Mixer. Again, this will, if I weren't to be able to figure that out, it would be fine for people on desktop, but I want this to be available to everyone, even if you're on mobile. There's going to be a page of basic moves, a page of special moves, and a page of your specific character moves. Each of these moves, as I mentioned, is going to have a specific action point cost, and you'll be able to spend those action points to try and take those actions. Some decisions will go to a character vote, which means that everyone on that character's team will get to make a vote, and that character will do whatever the outcome of the vote is. Some will come to an entire party vote, which means that each person votes individually, and the composite for all three teams will be the outcome. Now, all of this is going to happen very quickly, ideally, relying on group decisions and using me as the final arbiter. One thing that might be important for you to remember, especially if you've played an RPG before, is that it might help to think of these as my characters that you are helping me control. I would love for people to get invested in these characters, but not so much so that they feel devastated if the character does something that they personally wouldn't do. Remember, we're all trying to have fun here together. I think it's going to be a great time for us, and I really hope that you will come participate. Our plan is to be doing this next week. Please keep an eye on the Discord, and I'll probably announce it on Twitter as well. Honestly, I love this project. You can probably find an announcement on Instagram as well. Just keep an eye on specifically the Discord. That's where most of the information will fall between our different sessions. Now, I'm hoping to start next week, so get excited, get in here with me, and please also watch the lore and character introduction video that I will be recording in just a moment. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I'll see you next week for the adventure!